a bit of a novelty to be able to say it's 6:30, but not mean 6:30 in the morning. It's 6:30 in the evening. Good evening, and heading down to Castor Hanglands for the first time this season. Should be about the right time to find them. Usual Holy Trinity, common spotted, early marsh, and if we're lucky, a few southern marsh as there was last year. Probably the thing I'm looking forward to most, apart from there might be the odd classic common spotted variation. The thing I'm really looking forward to is the increasing number of hybrids, evident hybrids I think, between early marsh orchid and common spotted orchid, the Kernarorums, which have been turning up in increasing numbers down here. So looking forward to seeing them. With the sun this low, I'm going to head down the bottom end of the fields first and work my way back, doing the whole thing backwards really, because it works better with the sunshine. So yeah, looking forward to it. Always a good trip, Castor Hanglands. I wonder what these signs are going to say. And fenced off. Yeah, that's where I was heading. Let's have a look. I think it might just be penning in the grazing cattle that are here. Yeah, it's just the electric fence sign. That's okay. Had a horrible, for a moment, thought that they've just closed it off for some reason. When I speak to people who have come here looking for orchids, they often don't come down to this bottom end of the field. They tend to get just trapped around where the pond is, which is the best part of the site. But it's always worth coming down here. Apart from it being very early marsh orchid heavy, you get some oddities down here. Famously or infamously, I found a northern marsh orchid down here. Totally impossible, they cry. And they still tell me it can't possibly be a northern marsh orchid, but here's the photograph. And having seen northern marsh orchids, as far as I'm concerned, this is a northern marsh orchid, and if it is, it's the only one that's ever been seen in this part of the UK. But I'm sticking to it. As they say, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Right, we turn, get the sun behind us. Plenty of youthful common spotteds. I don't usually get these question mark hybrids at this end of the field, but this is the sort of thing you do find quite a lot now in Castor Hanglands. It's a spotty leaved, on the face of it, common spotted orchid, but you've got those two classic early marsh orchid type rings, sacs, call them what you like, on the flower. I don't know, possibly a hybrid between the two, the Kernarorums hybrid. I'll put that down as a question mark. Almost got excited there. It looked like a white common spotted from a distance, but it's got very faint markings on it, so didn't quite make it. Nicely marked common spotted. Pretty difficult to keep them still in this wind. That's nice. I've just wandered up one side of this path. I'm now going back down to look at the other side, and there is a stout looking, very white looking orchid in the fields, which I've ignored at the moment, but I'm going to go back and have a look because it is screaming out as something that could be quite tasty. Fingers crossed. There she is. Let's go and have a look. No doubt he'll have a pattern on it when we get there, but it is really shouting out loud from a distance. There you go, I could have told you. It's got a pattern on it, so it's not a white. It's nice. Definitely not a pure white. Some nice colouring on that. Two-tone. That's another one which is as close as you can possibly get to a Kernerorum hybrid between early marsh and common spotted. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Pretty certain. The only problem I have with these Kernerorums, as I think they are, is there's so many of them. And it's not exactly the most common of hybrids, so to have this many Kernerorums, if that's what they are, is pretty astonishing really. But they're textbook, absolutely textbook for the hybrid. All boxes ticked. Nice to see a bit of a larger, stouter. I mean, it's not huge, but compared with the others in this upper field, that's a big one. I am absolutely relieved to see this early marsh orchid, because this field normally has 100 plus and I've not seen one. Not seen one. This is the first one, so far the only one. Madness. And a second one. That's a relief. That's a nice one, that is. Fully open. I don't know where the other 100 have gone, but at least good to find a couple. Plenty of markings on that one. Very nice. Probably the best of the set so far. Good to see some early marsh now. Starting to pick up in numbers. There's a couple of them here. Lovely markings on that one. Yeah, I know it's only a common Twayblade, but have I seen a common Twayblade at Castor Hanglands before? I'm pretty sure I haven't actually. So this is an unusual one for this site. I'm pretty sure, unless I'm going nuts. Good to see. A nice family group. Kids at the front, dad at the back. Another one similar to those hybrids I was pointing out earlier. These have got marks on the sort of outer wings of the flower, so I would discount that one. You really need a clean flower with those loops on, and this one isn't, so that's just a common spotted to me. Another nice family group. Another one I would say is nothing unusual by way of hybrids, because the markings sort of spread across the flower, but Just notice there's quite a lot of reflex going on these flowers, which isn't typical of common spotted, but is typical of early marsh. But I think this is just a common spotted. Who knows? Lovely, and more question mark hybrid markings on that one. I would say that is a Kernerorum hybrid. I'll stick my neck out. I'm about 85% sure that's what it is. That's very unusual actually. It's on the face of it is a common spotted orchid, but that palette is absolute classic sort of incarnata form of early marsh. I should probably study this a bit more when I get home, but that actually looks more like an early marsh than a common spotted. But yeah, I'm going to have to ask some questions about that one. I love the colour palette. I think it's screaming out it's got early marsh in it, and yeah, I'll just check when I get home on that one. Could be a hybrid of a different form. Nice common spotted with a resident crab spider on the left. Trying to fight my way through to this. It's being swamped by the grasses. I mean, looks to all intents and purposes like an early marsh orchid. It's got spotty leaves. So, I mean, the flower shape is early marsh, spotty leaves are spotty leaves. That's common spotted. So that is a hybrid. It's going over, but I can get the camera to focus. Yeah, it's definitely a hybrid. Cross Kernerorum. Very rounded flowers on these, or on some of these, should I say. I'm pretty sure if I put that up on some of the Facebook groups, they'd say, "Oh, he's spotted." No doubt, he's spotted. But he spotties don't grow here, or so I'm told. There you go, Castor Hanglands. Fantastic evening, lovely sunny weather. Summer's evening at Castor Hanglands, what could be better? I was just thinking on the way out, because I thought it's a bit disappointing, but if I saw what I saw tonight somewhere else, I'd have been raving about it. You just have such high expectations here that it can never live up to what you kind of expect there might be. You know, rhodocilla, common spotteds, and God only knows what, and you're not going to see them every year. So, but it was good. Common spotteds, good numbers, a bit better than last year in terms of size. I think they're going to take a time to recover from last year, trying to grow in dry conditions and in long grass. The grass has been cut. Big thumbs up to those that have made sure that happens. And the orchids look a lot happier. But there's plenty of common spotteds there with the usual mix of different colour schemes. I haven't filmed as many this year because I don't want to just put up loads of very, very similar looking common spotteds, but there's plenty there to get you down with wet knees and plenty of interest. Southern marsh, no, just no southern marsh that I could find. Early marsh, that's the shocker. Early marsh orchids. There should be over 100 down there, and I saw about 5. They've been wiped out by something. I'm sure they'll be back, but not this year. I think it's the wet, because it's still quite wet in there, and we haven't had rain for 4 weeks. So 4 weeks ago, it must have been under water significantly, and that's when the early marsh would have been bursting out and flowering. I think they just drowned basically and just not come out. Maybe it's similar to what's happened at Swaddywell, where they also didn't show up. So there's something going on there, don't know what. Didn't see a white common spotted. What else did I fail on? There are hybrids. There are Kernerorum hybrids in that field, but there's also common spotteds that look very similar. So I always escape from here thinking, what was that I actually just looked at? There are Kernerorum hybrids in there, definitely, but pinpointing which ones are hybrids and which ones are, it's very, very difficult. But they are there without a doubt, because traditionally there's always a lot of early marsh here and there's a lot of common spotted, so why not? So, but yeah, it's good. I enjoyed the evening. I hope you enjoyed the video as ever. Thanks for tuning in. Out again on Friday, and that is the Bee Orchid Tour for 2023. If it's half as good as last year, it should be really, really good. I'm looking forward to that one. And I will be checking out some of those special bee orchids from last year in the hope that they're going to turn up again this year. So I will see you then.